Bella squeezed her daughter's tiny hand as a nurse pushed the hospital bed toward the double doors marked *pediatric cardiac surgery *. "Mommy," 8-year-old Emma whispered through trembling lips. "Grandpa's still coming, right?" Bella forced a smile that hurt more than it helped. He must be caught in traffic, sweetheart." Emma nodded, wanting to believe her. Bella didn't. She looked across the waiting room one more time. 5 empty chairs. She had reserved them herself. 1 for her father. 1 for her brother. 3 for the relatives who had promised, "We'll all be there. You're not going through this alone." Not one of them came. The nurse glanced toward the empty seats before looking back at Bella. "Is anyone else joining you?" Bella swallowed. "No," she answered quietly. "It's just us." Emma reached for her mother's hand again. "Don't leave while I'm asleep." "I won't. I promise." The surgeon stepped forward. "We're ready." Bella bent down, kissed Emma's forehead, and watched the doors slowly close between them. For the next 6 hours, every vibration from her phone made her heart jump. Maybe Dad was calling. Maybe Jason finally realized how serious this was. Maybe somebody had simply gotten delayed. Instead, nothing. No calls. No messages. No flowers. Not even a single text asking whether Emma survived. When the surgeon finally returned with a tired smile and said, "The procedure went well," Bella collapsed into tears of relief. She wanted to share the news with her family. She stopped herself. If they cared, they would have already asked. 4 days later, Emma was finally home, curled beneath a blanket on the living room couch while Bella carefully measured medication into a small cup. Her phone buzzed. She grabbed it so quickly, she nearly dropped it. "Dad." For one impossible second, hope returned. Maybe he'd learned what he'd done. Maybe he wanted to apologize. Maybe he wanted to ask about his granddaughter. She opened the message. "We need $6,500 for your brother's house down payment. Can you transfer it today?" Bella stared at the screen. Not one word about Emma. Not one question about the surgery. Not even a simple, "How is she doing?" Only money. She looked across the room. Emma was sleeping peacefully for the first time in days. Bella opened her banking app. She transferred exactly *100*. Then she added a note. That should cover the first brick. She pressed *send****. The reply came less than 30 seconds later. What the hell is this supposed to mean? Bella didn't answer. Instead, she logged into every financial account she had. Every shared payment authorization. Every backup funding source. Every family credit card connected to her accounts. One by one. She removed them all. When she finished, she closed her laptop, walked back to Emma's side, and finally slept for the first time since the surgery. At 6:07 the next morning, her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost ignored it. Then she noticed the caller ID. Maple Ridge Credit Union. She answered. A calm voice spoke before she could say hello. "Ms. Bella." "Yes." "This is Daniel Harris, branch manager." There was a brief pause. "I need to ask you one question." Bella sat upright in bed, careful not to wake Emma sleeping beside her. "Hello." "Good morning, Ms. Bella. My name is Daniel Harris. I'm the branch manager at Maple Ridge Credit Union." His voice was polite, but unusually measured. "I'm calling because several financial authorizations connected to your accounts were revoked overnight." Bella frowned. "Yes, I removed every family connection I could find." There was another pause. "So, you intended to cancel all of them?" "I did. I wanted to make certain before we processed everything." Bella looked toward Emma's bedroom door. "Is there a problem?" "Not exactly," Daniel replied. But I strongly recommend you do not reconnect anything until you've reviewed what was actually attached to your accounts. Bella sat straighter. What do you mean? I'm afraid I can't discuss every account over the phone due to privacy regulations. His voice lowered. But I think you should look through your online banking history carefully. After hanging up, Bella carried her laptop to the kitchen. She expected to spend 5 minutes confirming the cancellations. Instead, hours disappeared. She opened one statement after another. Mortgage shortages, emergency transfers, medical bills, insurance payments, college tuition, car repairs, vacation deposits. Every few months, another request appeared. We'll pay you back. Just until next payday. It's only temporary. She clicked farther back. 5 years. 7 years. Almost 10. The numbers became impossible to ignore. Thousands had quietly become tens of thousands. Jason always had another emergency. Richard always called personally. Bella, he would say, family helps family. And every single time. She helped. She remembered taking unpaid leave when her aunt underwent chemotherapy. She remembered driving 4 hours to help her cousin after surgery. She remembered paying for Richard's dental work when he claimed insurance had denied coverage. Yet when Emma had been wheeled into an operating room to save her life. None of them had driven 15 minutes to the hospital. Bella closed her eyes. For the first time, she wasn't comparing money. She was comparing priorities. She reopened the banking dashboard and clicked into the list of recently canceled authorizations. Several names meant nothing to her. Emergency payment guarantee, overdraft protection authorization, secondary funding agreement. She frowned. I don't remember opening these. Some had been created years earlier. Others had quietly renewed automatically. Most listed Richard as an authorized related party. Bella leaned back in her chair. How many things did I sign without actually reading? Her phone rang again. Daniel Harris. She answered immediately. I've started reviewing everything. I thought you might. His tone was even quieter than before. Ms. Bella. Yes. I don't think your father ever expected you to look this closely. Bella had barely set her phone down when it started vibrating again. Dad calling. She declined it. Seconds later, Jason calling. Decline. Then another. And another. By lunchtime, she had 23 missed calls. A new message flashed across the screen. Jason, asterisk, what did you do? The bank says something changed. Bella ignored it. Another appeared almost immediately. Dad, asterisk, call me now. She set the phone face down and continued helping Emma finish her lunch. For the first time in years, someone else's emergency wasn't going to come before her daughter. An hour later, Bella's cousin Melissa sent a message. Melissa, asterisk, everyone's asking what happened. Uncle Richard says you're refusing to help Jason after everything this family has done for you. Bella stared at the words. Everything this family had done. She quietly opened the family group chat. 37 unread messages. Richard had already painted the picture. Bella abandoned her own brother. She's letting jealousy destroy Jason's future. I don't recognize my own daughter anymore. Relatives, who knew only half the story, began chiming in. Jason has children to think about. Family should stick together. Money changes people. Bella read every message. Then she typed exactly one sentence. Who visited Emma before her life-saving heart surgery? She pressed send. The group instantly went silent. The typing indicators appeared. Then disappeared. No one answered. Not Richard. Not Jason. Not anyone. Several minutes later, private messages began arriving. Melissa wrote first. Wait, Emma had surgery. Bella blinked. Another message. Her Aunt Denise. Heart surgery. Richard told us it was just another doctor's appointment. Then her uncle. Nobody said she was in the hospital. Bella's stomach tightened. Her father hadn't simply ignored Emma. He had hidden the truth. He had convinced everyone there was nothing serious enough to interrupt Jason's house plans. Bella quietly sent one photograph. Emma lying in a hospital bed. Heart monitor beside her. IV lines taped to her small arm. Caption: the morning none of you came. No explanation. No accusation. Just the picture. Within minutes, the family chat transformed. Questions replaced accusations. Richard, why didn't you tell us? You said she'd be home the same afternoon. Jason, did you know? Jason finally answered. This isn't about that. My mortgage closes in 3 days. Bella just needs to reconnect everything for 1 week. That's all. Richard immediately followed. Exactly. We can sort the family issues out later. Just reconnect the accounts until closing. Bella read both messages twice. Even now. Even after everyone learned the truth. They were still talking about the house. Not Emma. Not the surgery. Not the empty hospital chairs. She finally replied. Asterisk no. Nothing more. One word. One boundary. Her inbox chimed. From asterisk Daniel Harris. Subject asterisk, requested financial documentation. Bella opened the email. Attached were dozens of scanned agreements, authorization forms, and account records dating back nearly a decade. She slowly clicked the first document. Then the second. Her heart sank. Every page carried her signature. Bella stared at the stack of scanned documents on her screen. The earliest one was dated nearly 9 years ago. She clicked it open. At the bottom sat her signature. She remembered the day almost instantly. Richard had invited her to the credit union after work. I just need another signature, he'd said while sliding papers across the desk. The loan officer says it's routine family paperwork. She had barely glanced at the pages. Her father had always handled financial matters. She trusted him. Now she wished she hadn't. She opened another document. Then another. Each one carried a familiar explanation from years ago. This only lets us move money faster in an emergency. This is backup protection in case the system glitches. It doesn't obligate you to anything. Back then, Bella had believed every word. Today she noticed what she'd ignored before. Secondary funding authorization. Emergency payment guarantee. Linked overdraft protection. Each agreement quietly connected her accounts to financial products belonging to Richard or Jason. Not ownership. Not direct debt. But automatic financial support if certain conditions were triggered. Bella rubbed her temples. No wonder they panicked. Her phone rang again. Daniel Harris. I've reviewed several of the agreements, Bella said before he could speak. And I signed them. You did. They weren't forged. No. She closed her eyes. I was just manipulated. Daniel answered carefully. From everything I've reviewed, Ms. Bella, you signed each document voluntarily. But it's understandable that you may not have realized the long-term effect of those authorizations. So canceling them removed every protection that depended on your accounts. Bella let out a slow breath. I finally understand. The next call came from Jason. She answered this time. What did you tell the credit union? He demanded. I didn't tell them anything. Then why did my mortgage approval freeze? Bella remained calm. I removed my financial connections. You knew this would happen. No. You ruined everything. Bella looked toward Emma, who was coloring quietly at the dining table. I didn't ruin your mortgage. Jason laughed bitterly. Without those guarantees, underwriting suspended everything. Bella said nothing. You could fix this with one signature. No. You'd really destroy my future over one disagreement. Bella's voice stayed steady. My daughter's heart surgery wasn't a disagreement. Silence. Then the line went dead. By evening, Richard was calling every hour. Voicemails filled her inbox. Bella, answer your phone. This has gone far enough. You're embarrassing the family. You owe your brother this. For the first time in years. She deleted every message without listening twice. The following morning, Daniel called once more. I wanted to update you. Bella set down her coffee. I'm listening. Jason's mortgage remains suspended. I expected that. So do the credit lines attached to your father's accounts. Bella wasn't surprised anymore. What happens now? They'll need entirely new approvals without relying on your authorizations. She nodded slowly. That isn't my responsibility. No, Daniel agreed. It isn't. There was a brief silence before he spoke again. Ms. Bella. Yes. I've finished reviewing the entire account history. Bella waited. His next sentence made her stop breathing for a moment. There's something your father never expected the rest of your family to find out. Bella sat across from Daniel Harris in a quiet office at Maple Ridge Credit Union. A thick folder rested between them. Daniel folded his hands. I wanted to wait until I had verified every document before calling your family reckless. Bella gave a tired smile. So, what did you find? He opened the folder. Over the last 9 years, your father slowly built nearly every major family financial arrangement around one thing. He looked directly at her. You. Bella frowned. I don't understand. You weren't just helping with emergencies. He slid several charts across the desk. You became the financial foundation without realizing it. Daniel pointed to the first page. Whenever Jason applied for credit, your linked protections strengthened his financial profile. Another page. When Richard's checking account dropped below certain limits, backup authorizations connected to your accounts protected scheduled payments. Another. Several family credit products listed your accounts as secondary financial support. Bella stared silently. I thought those forms were just routine paperwork. So did you. Daniel nodded. Your father never technically forged anything. He simply never explained what he was asking you to sign. Bella slowly leaned back. So every time they called saying they just needed one more favor. They were protecting a system that depended on your financial stability. Everything suddenly connected. The endless emergencies. The guilt. The pressure. The constant reminders that family helps family. They hadn't been asking for occasional help. They had quietly organized their financial lives around Bella's reliability. That afternoon, Bella sent one email. Not an argument. Not an accusation. Just copies of the documents Daniel had explained. Every authorization. Every agreement. Every renewal. Along with one sentence. These are the financial arrangements I only recently discovered. Please read them before deciding who has been honest. Then she turned off her phone. When she switched it back on the following morning, dozens of messages waited. Not from Richard. From everyone else. Melissa called first. I had no idea. Her Aunt Denise cried. Bella, I'm so sorry. Her uncle admitted quietly. Richard told us Jason qualified for everything on his own. One by one. The relatives realized Bella had quietly carried burdens no one else even knew existed. Even worse. Most of them had never learned Emma's surgery was life-threatening until Bella shared the hospital photograph. Richard had deliberately described it as a precautionary procedure because he didn't want relatives canceling plans surrounding Jason's house purchase. That truth spread through the family faster than any rumor he had ever started. Jason tried to save the deal. He applied for financing again. Without Bella's linked guarantees, the lender required stronger qualifications and additional reserves. The closing date passed. The seller accepted another buyer. Jason lost the house. He blamed Bella publicly. No one believed him anymore. Too many relatives had now seen the paperwork. Too many had seen the hospital records. For the first time, Richard couldn't control the story. Weeks later, Richard appeared unannounced outside Bella's home. He looked older than she remembered. "I just want to talk." Bella stepped onto the porch, closing the front door gently behind her. "So talk." "I made mistakes." She waited. He glanced toward the house. "Can I see Emma?" Bella shook her head. The day she needed her grandfather most. Her voice remained calm. "You chose a down payment instead." Richard lowered his eyes. "I thought there would be another chance." Bella answered softly. "There was. You missed it." He stood silently for several moments before turning toward his car. He never argued. He never denied what he'd done. For the first time in his life, he had nothing left to justify. Bella met with an attorney the following month. Every remaining shared authorization disappeared permanently. Her accounts became completely independent. She updated her estate planning, created new emergency contacts, named trusted friends instead of relatives who had abandoned her. The process wasn't fueled by anger. It was built on clarity. Emma recovered steadily. Months later, she ran across a playground wearing the scar on her chest without embarrassment. She laughed harder than Bella had heard in years. One afternoon, Emma looked up and asked, "Mom." "Yes." "Do I still have a grandpa?" Bella smiled gently. "You have people who love you enough to show up." Emma nodded. "I like those people better." "So do I." Bella realized something in that moment. Sending her father ***1 had never been about revenge. It was the first decision she had ever made that valued her daughter more than her father's expectations. She didn't lose a family. She walked away from a transaction disguised as one. And as Emma reached for her hand, Bella knew neither of them would ever mistake the two again.